Wendell Wayman has looked at the world and decided that there is a creator. But what next? How does the modern man relate to this creator? We'll be taking a journey with Wendell as he tries to find out who God is. Wendell Wayman has decided that to find God, he can't just wait for God to show up and knock him on his head and say, "Here I am." Wendell's come to the conclusion that to find God, you have to go out and search for him, if God is a him. Where's the logical place to start? How about nature itself? It seems if the creator of nature wanted us to know something about himself, then maybe he put some clues into his creation for us to discover. Since Wendell loved the outdoors anyway, he started looking even more closely to nature to find those clues. And there he saw a mixture of many things. As gorgeous as the deep complexity of billions of light years expanse of the cosmos is, as lovely as the morning sun shining into one's bedroom, bringing the joy of the day, as earth-moving as the sudden smile on a young woman's face. This is all a wondrous and delightful shroud of mystery to who God is, Wendell thought. Wendell thinks it is quite rational and reasonable to see the infinite complexity in nature, both from the smallest particles discovered to the ever-expanding and collapsing cosmos, to the infinite mathematical discoveries and creations, that there is an intelligence behind and within this universe. Amongst the beauties and wonders of the world, there are destructive powers. Wendell remembered his parents' divorce and how it affected him. Then there is his little sister who got into drugs and had a hard time for many years. Is it just humans that are messed up? Are we the problem? Or does nature itself show signs of a destructive power? Animals eat other animals. Hurricanes. Plagues. Wendell then remembered the idea of sin from his church school teachers. He tried to erase the memory, for it might keep him from being objective, but that was impossible.
There is no freedom without the law.
So maybe he would redefine the word sin in his mental dictionary. Sin equals destruction, pain, suffering, the tearing down, the opposite of building up. Wendell would start his journey to God with the darkest part of nature: death. What is death? Are seasons death? Is killing animals death? Death seems unjust somehow. For us to know we are alive and even conscious of our own death, that's awful. It kind of ruins life. If there is a God, what is he telling us about everything if there is death? There should be something that tells us about death before we die, and most people don't find out. There has to be an answer somewhere. Did God leave the answer? Where? Because most people don't really know why we die or what death is. Those who claim to know disagree about it. Wendell thought, can I understand death? Must I understand death before I can continue my journey to God? All Wendell knew was that if there is something or someone who knows God, then they should understand the reason there is death. He left that question for the next. The greatest thing in nature, life. For some bizarre reason, things in nature sacrifice their energy and their food for reproduction. Nature procreates. Why? Why would that just spring out of nothing? Since our guy Wendell has already been through all these questions and come to the conclusion that there is a creator God, now he needs to understand procreation, and again, if there is a God who wants us to find him, the answer may be in procreation. Procreation seems to scream God. Wendell thinks reproduction is the plainest revealing of God of all time. Life is the pinnacle of the beauty of his creation. Wendell pondered the magnificent span of time and space. The world, all nature, is somehow aware of time itself, or no life forms would be reproductive. Life depends upon time happening in a sequential chronology, and there is no reason why that would have to be. There is a symmetry in nature that moves and exists throughout time and space. There is a stability to space that is often assumed and never explained. Why doesn't the cosmos collapse inside of itself daily or weekly? Why are the heavens creating more space by their expansion instead of falling into some void or black hole? The trillions of stars and galaxies and universes out there, with no human to have seen it until recently, were full of extraordinary, elegant cloud formations of multicolored gases. Why is there a small planet of such beauty and wonder hanging out in space, with the warmth of the sun flooding down upon us like warm honey? Clouds and mountains, rolling green meadows and flowing streams, as well as the great ocean full of ancient monsters and deep crevices. Whatever Wendell is searching for, he contemplates that this God will have something out there that can tell us about death and procreation and why. And moving on, there is such beauty in nature. It's almost as if the beauty is itself divine. But Wendell would never be a pantheist. He surmises that nature is not God, but reflects its creator. Wendell goes back to the beauty of symmetry. Why is there symmetry in animals? Rarely is there seen a man with only one eye, and one side of his nose is drastically different than the other. Most humans have an eye on one side of his face, almost identical to the eye on the other side, like a mirror. Animal legs tend to be symmetrical. The balance is not only practical, but gives creation a beautiful order. Colors are another added and often impractical universal delight. This beauty defies the utilitarian natural view of preservation of the species. There must be a creator that gave us eyes to behold his creation with awe and thankfulness. Man has a heart that responds to the beauty we see and builds upon its resources for creations of our own, such as architecture and art, and add to that the miracle of music and poetry. Whoever or whatever has the answers about who God is should understand the nature of beauty, natural order, and hierarchy. And there is this wonderful hierarchy in nature: man and woman and child, groups of animals, the alpha male of the pack, the queen bee. It's astounding how well organized nature is by its hierarchical system. Whatever or whoever has the answers to who God is must understand death and life, beauty and hierarchy. For this is all over nature.